Alright, so I'm going to be teaching the most basic version of that, which is what you just saw, and then I'll go into about 2 or 3 other variations. So let's go ahead and get right into the tutorial. So I'm just going to do the actual change in slow motion so you guys can see exactly what's happening. Okay. So basically the motion that you're going to be doing is a snap, except it's more like that. Okay, so it's a very small movement, but it is also very quick. I'm going to show you from behind so you guys can see. Now you're going to be pinching these cards pretty much just like this. So you're going to keep these 2 fingers curled in while your middle, index, and thumb pinch like that. So you're going to grip it coming in like this. Okay, so it's going to be on the right hand side at the bottom. And if you're left-handed, it's just the same thing, just in reverse. So it would be over here. Now you can either grip the card so your fingers are horizontal with the card, or you can slightly angle it like this. You're gonna have to just play around. Some people like it straight, some people like it around here, and some people I've seen do it pretty far into the angle. Now the angle does make a difference in where the card goes, and I'll show you that. So if I hold it exactly horizontal, you can see that the card is relatively straight. But if I hold my hand angled as opposed to that first grip, you can see that the card has a lot more well, angle to it. So it's just something you have to play with and experiment with in the mirror and just see which one you're most comfortable with. So when you've got your card gripped from here, essentially what's going to happen is your thumb and middle finger are going to keep contact on the card behind it, while your middle finger is pushing against your thumb and pulling that card back. So it's not going to pull it that far back, but okay. So at this point all you need to do is just do the change. Alright, see ya. So, really what you're going to need to do. So basically at this point what's going to happen is you need to grip the card behind it with these 2 fingers. You're going to pull up with your thumb and pull down with your middle finger. And doing that will create that little split. And now you can see a lip of this card here, which you can feel for yourself. And it's easy to put all the pressure on that card, and your thumb is already holding that card from the back, so your thumb doesn't have to do much work. But from here, now that you can grip this card, your index finger is again against your thumb as well, and as long as you keep upward pressure on that thumb, you can drag that card down and curl in your index finger, which will hide that card behind this one. So again, your middle finger and your thumb are going to peel the cards just like that. Just like that. Okay, so this is very exaggerated. And now I can grab onto that card here. What you're going to do from this point is, now that you can grip this card mostly, your index finger will keep pressure against that thumb as it curls inward. And that is where the snap is going to come in. So you can see once you do it at speed, that's where the snap is coming in. So as you're practicing, you may want to give yourself a little gap in there. Remember, you don't want to pull your fingers so you can just grip this card and then continue like that, so you have something weird like this. With the pad of your finger, you'll be able to feel both cards. You'll be able to feel the edge of this top card here and this one here, and you can apply just enough pressure to keep that held against your thumb while it clears, and at that point you can keep your finger extended. And obviously, as you get better and better at being able to peel that card back, the separation before you actually do the change will never be noticed. So now that you guys have hopefully a basic understanding on how to do the snap change, we're going to learn a couple different variations on it. And the first one we're going to learn looks like this. So I'm going to show you first a little view of what it looks like from behind. It's exactly the same thing, except instead of horizontal, it's just going to be held vertical. And even though it is essentially the same thing and it is just a little minor adjustment in the angle, it is a lot harder to do and control. So I'm going to show you what the card looks like from behind before I actually get into it. So even though it is the same thing, there's a lot less room for the card to hide behind this time. The card sticking out like this makes it very angle sensitive. So instead of having a good angle from about even here to about here, with this one your angles are a lot more sensitive. So I can barely turn it and you'll start seeing the card, and you'll really see the card from this side. So it's pretty much only a camera change, maybe one or two people, but no more than that. So it really is the same thing. I can't really explain anything else other than you're going to need to apply more pressure here to keep the card a little higher up. Because if you let it drop down, you're going to have more visibility from here, as opposed to keeping it up. You get a little bit more room for the card, but then that also means that it is going to be easier to see from this side. So what I would recommend while you're practicing in a mirror or for the camera is to not be straight on, but have it slightly in, so that when you get the change you don't run the risk of showing that edge, and you just have to keep playing with it so you don't show this as well. So basically you're just going to do exactly the snap change, but you're going to just circle your arms like this, and as soon as you see that your arm is covering most of the card, you can go ahead and change it, and the big motion will cover the small motion of the cards switching, and it hides it pretty well. So there's another thing that you can play with. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like from here. Now the grip is the same. The grip is going to be on the lower right hand corner, except instead of gripping it with 3 fingers like this, you're only going to pinch it with these 2 fingers, your index and your thumb. Now these fingers, as nice as it would be to keep them curled in, you need them to be all extended outwards. So you're giving just this weird, awkward OK sign. Now, what's going to happen is these fingers are going to peel the card from the front. So as the first one, you're also going to split these cards like this. Your finger will come in from the front, your ring finger, and contact that card, and your middle finger will contact the same card from behind. And at this point, it grips the cards in a sort of a clip right here and extends back out to hide the card. When you start out, you're going to need to peel the cards to get a grip on one of the cards. Instead of doing it this way though, instead of your thumb coming up and index going down, you're going to reverse that. Your index will go up and your thumb will go down. So now you should have a bit of the card exposed at the bottom. Now at this point, these fingers are going to come in. The ring finger is going to come in to the front and contact the face of the card as the back touches the lip of the back of the card. Okay, so it's going to be a pretty awkward position right here. Your pinky will just rest along with the ring finger here, and now you can get a pretty good grip on that card, while your index and your thumb maintain a grip on the red card. Now at this point, what you're going to do is clamp down on that pretty tight on the blue card, and you're just going to extend the fingers back where they were. And that's really all there is to that version of it. It's easy to explain, but it's not easy to do at all. So you can see that it is very limited in the angles, even more so than the other snap changes. So this is going to be best for maybe camera, one person at most. I wouldn't do it for anything other than that. And you're going to do this change under the cover of turning it over. So as you turn it over, it should be happening right there. Turn it over. And this is the point when you would split the cards when they're about horizontal, so that no one will notice. Get your grip, and as you turn back, the card should have been changed already. Something like that. So this is just going to take a lot of practice to get the timing and the angle right, and also, unfortunately, you're going to have to be pretty good at judging the exact angle, the exact straight-on angle for whoever it is you're performing, either, you know, whether it's one person or a camera, whatever it is. There is no way to cover the little sound for this because you can't just snap it. So, you know, there's really no excuse for that sound in this variation of it. So there's only about a couple ways you can hide these sounds decently, and the most common one that you're going to find, and the best, unfortunately, is simply flicking the cards. So the instant before you do the change, all you're going to do is flick the cards. There's no need to get into any more detail than that, just a little snap like that. Even if you miss, something like that, you can attribute that little sound to just giving it a gentle flick. So not only does the flicking get rid of any explanation you'd have to give for the sound, it also gives a little more cover for your finger and the card sliding behind, because it just gives that little shake to the card that makes it too hard for the eye to focus on, and they just can't see it. The other option, like I said, for the second variation would be to do that arm thing. So other than that, there's really no way to hide the sound of a snap change besides giving a flick or having just a loud background. So now that you've learned how to do all these changes, you obviously have to be able to clean up after the changes if you want to perform them. And the only thing that you can really do is, after you've done your snap change and the card is here, is to have the deck and kind of bring your hand down and kind of meet halfway, so you don't have to come all the way down with one hand or go all the way up here. So just kind of meet halfway and casually just drop this onto the top of the deck, and it will go very unnoticed. And since you have your fingers here, it's going to be square right away. And then you can just go into some little tiny card flourish just to turn it over to distract their eyes, and they won't even think twice about it. They just drop the card there. And that applies to everything. To this change, you would have to do it a little differently. So if you get this change here, you can pretty much just do the same thing, but bring your hand in with your wrist tilted a little more out so that you can just drop it there, and there you go. So really for this one, there is pretty much no cleanup that's going to be easy to do other than bringing your hand awkwardly over, placing the card down, and then